had health issues since you were a baby before you started on your health journey. So can you tell us a little bit about your health situation, boy, starting from when you were just a little one?
Oh, yeah. I had issues, like you said, since I was a baby. As soon as I came out the womb, several weeks later, I was diagnosed with cradle cap. And if you know anything about cradle cap, it's a medical condition where babies actually get uh, scaly patches on their head. And mine was my patches were so bad, they had a smell to them. They were oozing and they were bleeding. My mom says that there were times when people didn't even want to hold me. And if you look at my baby pictures, you see a lot of bald spots, and that was because of the cradle cap. So that's where we started in life. And then shortly after, I got psoriasis. And if you know anything about psoriasis and eczema, you get more scaly patches on your skin. Mine were so bad, y'all, that I was bleeding behind my ears, the crevices of my arms. I'll never forget sitting in class and it was just like this guest speaker who came in, and I don't know why, but they just started staring at my skin, and I felt like an alien. And then they commented, and that was the end for me. And I was like, I I don't look normal. And so I always had these skin issues. And then on top of that, I was diagnosed with chronic asthma. And so I would wake up in the middle of the night and it felt like five people were on top of my chest. So the nebulizer was right next to me. And then we were just best friends. I remember going to school, not being able to play all the time with the kids because I would run, I would just be out of breath. I was really constipated, couldn't go to the bathroom. Going to the bathroom really honestly felt like death. And shortly after, I started feeling like everything was hurting me in my body. So, like symptoms of fibromyalgia. So, I was just all messed up. So, that's how I came into the world.
Well, so were you breastfeeding when the cradle cap? Because you're tiny, right? You don't feed kids anything till 6 months, really.
Yeah, well, my mother says I was doing a mix of breasts. I was breastfeeding, and then shortly after, I was doing some formula. So when I look back, knowing what I know now, I know that a lot of the triggers for my health issues were definitely tied in to the diet. Then we didn't know that.
Like that your mom was having or the formula or both? Like your mother's eating and going through her breast milk?
Oh yeah, I think definitely there were some allergic reactions there.
What was your
Absolutely.
diet like then?
Well, so as a child, I was eating school lunch. If you know anything about inner city school lunch, you know that it's filled with tons of processed food. So I was eating all the meat. I was eating all of the fried food. Our pizzas were like this thick with some sort of something that looked like cheese. Not too sure if it was cheese or plastic, ladies. And then the array of milks. We had whole milk, in the red carton. Then we had skim milk, reduced milk, 1%, 2%, chocolate milk, banana milk, strawberry milk. There were so many options to get dairy into your system. So that's what I was eating from pretty much kindergarten all the way to high school. Eating that way, after a while, you're going to get sick.
Did anybody know what to do? Were you in and out of the pediatrician's office and the doctor's office and the allergist? And how did you figure out it, unravel and start to get better? Or did it take many, many years?
So and that's a great question, Dotsie. I was definitely in the pediatrician's office, Dr. Rosenberg. I still remember his name. I was there all the time. If it wasn't blood work, it was a new medication. If it wasn't a new medication, it was just going in because I was spiking a fever. And this was just the way life was. I remember clearly needing to do blood work because my legs were in pain and I was like 13 years old. Just and it wasn't like I was running a marathon or anything. This is just the way life was. Um, I'll just flow into it kind of. You kind of just preluded to like, uh, how did I come to the conclusion that I needed help, I guess? Well, it all started with the turkey. Um, it was Thanksgiving. And like most American households, we want some good old turkey. And so my sister, she goes into the kitchen and she proceeds to slice this turkey open. And you'll never forget. I mean, I'll never forget. You may never forget.
Here we go.
What she finds in this turkey. She finds a fat, engorged, translucent, hairy being, a parasite, waiting to be devoured. Okay. At that moment, ladies, I said to myself, oh no, I'm going cold turkey.
Cold Topher.
And I decided that I would be a vegetarian. All right. I'm probably 16 around this time. But because my conviction, my reason wasn't based on like serious conviction, it was more based out of fear. It wasn't shortly after like I smelled some General Gao's chicken in the air at some Chinese restaurant and I was back on the meat. It wasn't until I went to college that I had a huge experience that actually led me to veganism. And that's when my healing journey really began.